Welcome to gaming, the game zone, the gaming zone. We're going to talk about video games. Boy, do I love video games.
Me too.
So, while I talk about this first one, let me look up.
Oh yeah, we're jumping right into news because that's how we play now.
Yes.
We don't play no games. We jump right into the stuff people are here for.
So,
Yeah.
first thing that I wanted to talk about
Okay.
is a game called Redfall. This game just came out. This is news, I promise. It sounds like I'm about to talk about a game I've been playing, but I'm not.
Okay.
So you and I have actually seen lengthy trailers for this game at multiple different E3s. I think we saw a big trailer at E3 2022, and then we saw even lengthier trailer at Summer Games Fest 2021.
Okay.
And it's just like a FPS where you fight vampires, I think, or something like that. The game is out, and it's terrible, and no one likes it. And there's kind of some controversy around this release because there was an interview with Phil Spencer where he basically
Your uncle.
my uncle Phil Spencer. For a split second I was like, what? But yes, no, he's my uncle. He's everybody's uncle. So he came out in an interview and he was basically like, what are you going to do? And he was basically like, he took the blame, which is, cool of him as the CEO of the company to be like, blame me if you're going to blame someone. But he basically said in so many words, he basically said yeah, the team wasn't ready and the game released unfinished. And it just leads me to be like, then why did it release?
Yeah.
Because you and I, we talked for a long time, last time we did a video game podcast about delaying games, but if that's what you need to do to make the game better.
Well, if you need to complete the game.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to talk in too much depth because we have recently about this, but
and there is another thing about this game that we can go in depth on.
Okay.
Another facet of this release that people are a little opinionated about.
I'm glad he took ownership, and I'm glad he made a big deal about it sucking but coming out on the proper release date. Just, I don't know, is it time management? Just figure out what the problem is. Figure out why you either need to delay obnoxiously long amounts of time, or if you stay honest to the release date, that it doesn't work.
Right.
There's obviously a problem inherently somewhere in there that one of those two things has to happen in order for a game to properly release.
You'd think that the decision to fix that problem would be made by Phil Spencer. Mm-hmm. He's literally
I think he's exclusively the only person who could guarantee a change there.
But instead, and I do want to, I'm not trying to badmouth Uncle Spencer.
Your uncle, yeah.
But it really feels like somebody, maybe it wasn't him, but he took full responsibility for it, so I guess I will blame him. Somebody was like, just release it.
Maybe that was
just
him.
Release it. And maybe
it sounds like that was him.
Because I don't know, Phil Spencer doesn't seem like the type of person to be like, no, you get this fucking game out by this date,
right.
Or we're canceling the whole, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting. So the other end of this conversation is that this game is $70 because games are $70 now for some reason, and the game is also on Game Pass, which is the greatest deal in gaming. And there's a little tiny debate going on with this. Does Redfall releasing and being actually terrible and no one likes it, does it being on Game Pass mean, is that I guess the conversation is that a positive thing? Because I, a person who has Game Pass, I didn't play this game, but let's say I did. Let's say I downloaded it day one, I was excited for it. Is that a good thing because I, a Game Pass player who downloaded this game, didn't have to pay
Right.
$70 to find out that this game was so terrible.
But you're getting screwed this month because the game sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or should I look at it as a negative because as many video games as there are on Game Pass, this was a big one and it fucking tanked. And it's like, why did you put it on Game Pass if it was so bad? Like, it's just the whole.
I think the way I see deals like that, it's a potluck, and like you said, it sounds like it's a great deal, and you're gonna get a lot of good games, but you also aren't gonna like every game that comes out on
Right,
there. And
right.
that's you kind of have to. I love to obsess over a game. So something like that deal doesn't work for me. I'm not gonna get enough out of it. I'm gonna play one game for 6 to 8 months at a time.
Right. Someone like you would not get their money's worth
Right.
with Game Pass.
And we're complete opposite in
Whereas
this
someone
regard.
like me
yeah.
who will like play like 4 indie games in 1 week.
Right.
Yeah.
So for someone,
I totally understand that.
For someone like me, I'm not willing to play the Russian roulette of am I going to like this game or not, because I'm going to play a game to its completion.
Right, right.
But someone in your shoes, I can only imagine that you've got to, before signing off on, I'm going to pay money for Game Pass or something like that, the thought must cross your mind of, I'm really rolling the dice. I mean, some of these I'm gonna like, some of them I'm not. If I played games like you, I would get Game Pass once and be like, let's see if I get what I want out of this. But when one comes out and I'm not into it, or it's shitty, even if it was hyped up, I'm not gonna get mad about it.
Right. That's the thing. Let's say I was excited about Redfall.
Yeah.
And it really sucks, and I didn't even get a chance to download it because I was gonna do it this weekend maybe or whatever. But I'm like, oh, it sucks. Okay, I'll just go back to playing like one of the other games on Game Pass. No,
exactly.
Like, there's a lot of great games on Game Pass. There's also a lot of like old games on Game Pass. You can play every Halo game, even the new one. You can play every Fable. You can play every Mass Effect. There's just but on top of that, what I like it for is there's like a lot of indies. I'm actually going to talk about one later today.
Sorry, this mouse. Oh, is that the issue?
Oh, is something wrong?
It's just for weeks now. For weeks. If I wanted to get to this bottom part of the screen, it would just push itself back up, and the wire was caught, and I just fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Cool. It's still, see this? See how it bounce? Oh, now you don't.
Well, yeah, because the mouse
bounces back up.
It's because it's wrapping all the way around. The mouse wants to be on the other side of the table.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense.
It is a little taut, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, not important. I just wanted to explain why I wasn't participating for a minute.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think that Redfall, being a flaming pile of shit, devalues Game Pass in any way. It does kind of, because I saw Redfall in the coming soon, and I was like, really? That game? Because you look at the coming soon, and it's like an old Xbox regular game.
It's not big games you expect.
Right.
Yeah.
The coming soon is like what you'd expect from a normal week of Game Pass.
Right.
And then Redfall, and I was like, that game cost a lot of money to make and also to buy, and it's just going to be on Game Pass. That's cool. Still not interested in it, but I was definitely like, keep that in the back of my mind. If it comes out and everyone loves it, maybe I'll just download it.
Yeah.
Turns out it didn't. It wasn't, and it didn't, and no one did. So whatever. I'll just go back to playing whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It keeps happening. You'd think that, like Redfall is a perfect example of. And I don't know who developed Redfall. Forgive me. Obviously, they're published by Xbox. But it's just an example of someone not learning from past mistakes. Like, this literally just happened with Cyberpunk 2077. That was like the most hyped game ever. It came out and it wasn't finished. It was terrible and glitchy and everyone hated it. And it's good now, but no one plays it. I'm sure Redfall is going to be a great game in 4 months.
Right.
But the big problem with that is it just released 2 days ago or whatever. So no one's going to play your shitty game, even when it's the way you envisioned.
Right.
I don't know. And it leads us back to what we were talking about. Who do we blame for that? Do we blame developer? Do we blame Uncle Spencer? Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. I think.
I'm trying to hold my tongue because it does lead into the big conversation we keep having.
Yeah.
But it all
and we'll have it again, but we just had
we
it
just
last
had it. No,
podcast.
exactly. And it's just that we were questioning why last time, and today the question is who.
Yeah.
But it's all the same problem.
Oh yeah.
You can question who, what, when, where, and why, but we're still talking about the same problem.
Right. No,
And
it definitely
it's becoming a problem.
It would appear as though there is a very large, like, miscommunication between developer, publisher, and marketing. Somewhere along the line, one of those three is making a decision that one of the other two is not okay with, but they're like rolling with it anyways because they have to.
And it's happening across the board.
Yes.
And part of that is companies like money and they want it as quick as they can get it.
Well, see, I think I almost like never want to blame the developer in that trifecta because like I can only assume it's publisher or marketing being like, well, you got to get this fucking game out because that's our game for this fiscal part of the calendar, and we need that money. And it's
I've got a whole story about that shit that I'm saving for the next podcast because it's not video game related, but it kind of is. It's video IP related, video game IP related, but it doesn't fit here enough.
Yeah. So the other switching gears to more Xbox news, believe it or not.
Awesome. I've got some Nintendo news, but I think you do as well.
Oh, I don't know if I do.
Okay.
You go with your thing first.
Oh, you want me to say it next?
Yeah.
All of Tears of the Kingdom got leaked.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear about Reggie's response?
No.
Reggie Fils-Aimé on...
He's retired, isn't he?
Yeah.
What does he give a shit?
Because he's
Is he playing
he's
it?
the fucking best. No, on Twitter, he reposted... He, like, what do you call it? He quote retweeted people who were... the people who leaked this game early. And he put the quote from Taken, where he's like, "You don't know who I am, but I have a particular set of skills. And I can make I can make life hell for you," or whatever he says. Just the whole thing, word for word.
I
was
love it.
Like, hell yeah, big pizza man, big Nintendo pizza man, rolling up with the goof, rolling up with the memes pre-launch.
I love it.
Yeah, don't do that. You're a shithead. Whoever leaked Tears of the Kingdom. You suck, and you couldn't have waited. I think it's 7 days now until that game comes out.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Damn.
Just wait, homie. Stop stealing. This is my whole thing with the when Mace was talking about the Pokemon cards, and it's just like, why you do that? You didn't have to.
Right.
No, whatever.
And not only that, like the person who leaked it, they're not making money, right?
Right.
So if you they're not selling this leaked version, you can't do that. That's not how leaking a game works.
No.
If you really wanted to play it that bad, like 2 weeks at the most, I can only imagine is when they got their hands on this game. Why did you go public with it? Public, but also nobody knows who you are. Like, what did you benefit from this?
People who.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah,
you finish your thought. You finish your thought, and then I'll.
There are like professional hacker groups, right? Like Anonymous, people like that, right? Anyone who hacks like on an amateur level is like so fucking like forward about it. Like, did you know gaming recently got their YouTube channel completely taken over? All their videos got deleted.
Oh shit.
The whole channel was replaced with like a cryptocurrency live stream bullshit. And it's just like why like you said, like why tell people, like, if you wanted the game early, don't do this, but like steal it and then just play it.
That's what I'm saying.
Why did you like neener, I got it, here it is, everyone,
right?
Like, I don't know,
just for anarchy's sake.
People who exactly, people who like hack on like an amateur level are always like, look what I did, and it's like, you're going to jail. You're gonna go. You're gonna get in trouble. I think probably.
Lango says the game will be out in the time. Be out in time for your next podcast. Yeah, no, exactly. And I can only imagine that's because I have a feeling this game got finished being made, in that day, this dude was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the story. I don't know if he's like, because the easiest way to get a game early is to work at GameStop, because GameStop has this game,
Right.
already. But yeah, I don't know that. I don't know the details about that. But the big news, which it's a big announcement. It's a big story, but I don't know if we're gonna have quite as much to say about it as we did last time, because we're returning to a story we talked about probably like a full year ago.
Oh shoot!
But the Xbox acquisition of Activision and Blizzard, it has been blocked officially. They're not going to be able to do that.
What do you mean? They didn't buy them all out?
No, the deal has been going. They've been trying to get this deal to go through the entire time, and they were just blocked by the CMA. And apparently, the reason they were blocked, they didn't want to say much, but the reason they were blocked revolved around cloud gaming. Not quite sure what that means or why it stopped the whole thing, but Microsoft has started the appeal process, because they really would like to buy Activision and Blizzard. But as of right now, they legally are not allowed to. It looks like.
That's really. I thought that was a done deal. I thought we were done talking about that.
Yeah, if Uncle Spencer had anything to say about it, we would have been done talking about it a while ago. Because I also was like,
I thought it was official when we were talking about it.
It was an official acquisition, but they still had to go through the legal process of quite literally buying them. I think the announcement that we got so excited about was Uncle Spencer sat down with whoever runs Activision Blizzard and was like, I would like to buy you. And he was like, yes, let's negotiate a price. And that's all that happened. But then they had to go through the legal thing of actually buying them, and then switching everything over to this, and changing the bank account and all that stuff.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, and the reason it was taking this long was because the CMA was trying to prevent it, and it looks like they are insofar successful trying to prevent it, because they blocked it officially. What does CMA stand for? The Competition and Market Authority.
So they're probably, I don't know enough about this stuff, but if I was to guess, I'd say it's a monopoly issue. But then you got companies like Disney, who have bought pretty much everything, and nobody's stopped them yet.
European Union, I'm just going to read this. European Union, United Kingdom, May 1st, 2023. The Competition and Markets Authority, or CMA, announced on the 26th of April that it had blocked Microsoft's proposal acquisition of Activision Blizzard, a US-based video game publisher, following a detailed Phase 2 merger. So the UK's mad about something.
All right.
Having to do with cloud gaming and Xbox.
Maybe you say so.
Right?
Internet.
Yeah, I if you say so, United Kingdom. Yeah. So that is, I was going to say that's disappointing. I guess it really doesn't matter. It was just kind of a cool thing that was happening, I think, in my opinion, and now it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of this happens all the time, not just with the video game news, but people are just sheep. When they announced that they were buying Activision Blizzard, a lot of people were like, "Oh, hell yeah." And now I see a lot of people being like, "Yeah, it's probably a good idea that this is blocked because this." And I'm just like, who's happening? What do you mean?
I was indifferent. I didn't really care.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't really care either. It seemed like it was gonna happen, and that's cool. My biggest thing was the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard came right after all that bad press that Blizzard got about their CEO being a weird creep or pedophile or whatever happened with him. There was a big controversy, and Xbox swoops in we'll buy you. You're Microsoft now.
I think my only concern with it was I just didn't want them to leave PlayStation or Nintendo in the dust. I didn't want. Listen, as a survivor of the end of the original console wars, I didn't want to see the second. I didn't want to see the second war start up again.
Sorry, when you say the original console wars, what are you referring to? Because I'm pretty sure you were born after the original console wars.
Was I considered after the console wars?
When I hear console wars, I think Nintendo, Super Nintendo versus Genesis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll say the second console wars. I'm referring to PlayStation 1, Nintendo, and then Xbox swooped in at the end.
That I would refer to as the second console wars. That's definitely when the developers themselves and the marketing themselves were like, "It's a war, baby."
That's
fuck Nintendo.
Yeah.
Sony's where it's at. The it's that famous thing that happened at the first ever E3 where the dude who is talking about the Dreamcast is talking about like going over all the specs, and he's like, here's how much it's going to be, and I think he said $399 is how much it was going to be, and then the guy from Sony was supposed to come up, do the same thing, give a big speech about all the specs of the PlayStation 1, but he just takes the mic and he says $299, and then he gets off the stage, and that was the whole
That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to get back to the oh my god, what's the word for it? Pettiness?
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to get back to the pettiness, and I'm worried all these big mergers, all these big buyouts are gonna spark some old flames of hatred between these companies.
I think, and I think this has everything to do with the fact that a lot of people who work in the game industry have been working in the game industry for a long time, and they're quite literally older now.
Yeah.
But, like, it just seems like no one cares. Like, there was a big, like, it was like 98, 97, 98 to, like, 2006 was, like, a fucking bloodbath.
That's what I'm saying.
Of marketing, just like, no, fuck Nintendo. They're for babies. We have Final Fantasy or whatever. And I just think that, like, no one wants to go back to that. I think literally everyone agrees with you.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't think that is a concern. Although there was that the most recent something like that I can think of, and this was fucking awesome, and I love it, was when they were announcing the Xbox One. And Microsoft, remember Microsoft tried to do that thing where they were like,
yeah,
this
you can't
is
share
Chris's
your
copy,
disc. Yeah,
and it's connected to his Xbox, and if he gives it to Anthony, Anthony's not going to be able to play it in his Xbox because that's Chris's copy. And PlayStation uploaded like a how-to video on like how to share games with a friend, and it was like step 1, share the game, and it was the CEO of Sony Japan handing a video game to the CEO of Sony America, and he was like, thanks, and that was the whole video. So that was pretty great. But yeah, there hasn't really been I mean, just look no further than Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for if there's a console wars or not.
Right, exactly. That would have never been a
no.
I remember when I forget what it was called, but Mario and Sonic at the Olympics came out, and I was like, wow.
You got it. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, I think is what it's called, but yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
There's just no more prejudice in the world of video games.
And you know what? It's funny because the ad campaign, the very famous ad campaign for that game, was literally like, which side are you picking? Mario and Sonic. But you play the game and there's no sides. It's just mini games and you get to pick a character. And if Knuckles is better at javelin throwing than Mario because stats.
Right.
And the sports game. It was just a normal game, and then they made 50,000 of them. And for some reason, whenever they did a DS version, they always took out Mario for some reason.
Oh.
It was always like Sonic and friends at the Sochi whatever Olympic Games for the DS. It was weird. It was don't play those games on DS obviously, but like if you have to, sorry Mario.
Yeah, no
apparently
shit.
the new Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games that came out, even though there wasn't actually an Olympics to promote it for, apparently it's like really good, and it has a story mode, and the story mode's about time travel.
Oh.
And uh Mario and Tails are stuck in the past, and they're in a 8-bit
Oh shoot.
8-bit 16-bit world.
Yeah.
And then Sonic and Luigi are stuck in modern day. And there's like classic NES mini games, and it seemed cool. It seemed like worth a buy if it's on sale. I might actually like see what that's about, because it kind of looked like dope.
That's awesome.
And also I love the whole like team up with the wrong
Right.
thing. I just love that.
We're in a world where there is a Mario movie and there is a Sonic movie.
Yes. Where are you going with this? Oh yeah.
Just throwing it out.
Oh,
there.
you want Olympic Games movie? Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily that, but I sense in the next 10 years, there's, assuming these franchises continue on the big screen, it'll be something.
Which, like, they will, because the Mario movie is making all the money.
We'll talk about that in the next hour.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Speaking of, why don't we switch over to you? What have you been doing? What have you been playing?
So, I've officially gotten sick of leveling up in Elden Ring. I'm
Okay.
not saying I am done playing the game, because I am very close to the end.
Yeah.
But I am done for the immediate future, because it's just getting very tedious, and I need a break. So, you gave me back some of the games that you've been borrowing from me for a while, because I'm missing the Aqua Teen Hunger Force Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that is.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it really might be a situation where it wasn't your game, where it was like your cousin's game or something.
No, I owned Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Because I remember you
Pro-Am.
telling me about it, but I never saw it. I never saw this game. It was definitely not here, because I would have played it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, as soon as you told me about that game, I was like, that sounds awesome.
I'm going to get a new copy, because
Good luck. It's not cheap.
It's like $30, I think. I
Oh,
might
is
just
it?
get
Oh,
the
okay.
disc. It's
Oh,
$30, but the disc is like $20-25.
Okay.
So I'm contemplating. I haven't made any decisions yet. But,
Okay.
with those two, you gave me the Warriors back,
Yeah.
which is an awesome game. If you haven't played the Warriors for the PS2, the movie tie-in game, it's the game.
It's a movie tie-in, but the game came out like a full 25 years after the movie.
Oh, at least. It might have even been 30. But you gave me that, and you gave me 7 Days to Die, which is a horror survival game.
Sure. Some would say survival horror, but
Oh, well, yeah, whatever. It's survival horror. That is definitely, if you're going to put one before the other.
Emphasis on survival, because it's like The Forest, right? It's like a chop wood, get resources type game.
So I've started playing it with Pauline.
Yeah. Tons of updates, by the way, since we started playing it. I got it on Game Pass.
Oh, really?
And I was playing like a few months ago. I just like tuned in for a few. It's like a completely different game.
I can't get updates on my version.
Oh, wait, why?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I've got version 1 point whatever, and that's it. That's the version I've got.
If you are you playing PS4 disc on a PS5?
Yes.
If you click the options button, there's a check for update thing. That you might have to
Maybe
click.
I'll press that.
You might have to manually do it.
I hope it doesn't fuck up our game.
If you press this.
Yeah.
No, it won't fuck up your game, but it'll probably like the game you're playing will always be in that version, and then you'll start a new game with all the updated features.
But I showed it to her the first night we played it. She was horrified. She was having a really hard time. There were a ton of zombies.
Oh, just with sorry. I was like, what is she horrified of? And then I was like, oh yeah, the zombies in the horror game.
And it was just a struggle. And I was like, did Anthony and I get lucky? Do I not remember how to play this game? And so we call it a night. I was like, oh, would you play it with me again? And she was like, I don't know. We'll see. And I was like, okay. She goes to bed, and I'm just sitting there like, why? Why was my experience today with this game like this? I remember loving this game.
Yeah.
Anthony played like a literal in-game year and a half worth of game.
Oh, yeah, we played for a bit.
why day one is Pauline like, nah, I think I'm good.
Yeah, because you shouldn't see a single zombie until like at least day 3 or something.
I know. And so I checked the options and I was like, oh yeah, there's an extensive she knows that this cat's in this room when we stream, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because she always calls her like halfway through the stream. But there's an extensive options menu.
Yeah.
Like so many more options than I even realized. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna make the days 2 hours long. So a 24-hour period's 2 hours long. We're gonna put the enemy spawn to the lowest it can be. Also, we're gonna make it so they can't run. Because she was really freaked out by the running, and it reminds me of exactly how we used to play.
Oh, okay. So you think maybe that's what we did?
Yeah, and we're doing a little something extra. I'm making this game enjoyable for Pauline. I'm not worried about like,
Yeah.
We survived this long, 7 days to die at the hardest.
Right.
I don't care about that. I'm trying to enjoy a game with my
Yeah.
wife. So when the 7th night comes, we exit out, we start over, we put the options, we make a full day 10 minutes.
Okay.
20. We've been making it 20 minutes. So all of night 7 is like 8 minutes long. But what I'm realizing is that doesn't mean that you get less zombies. You get all the zombies they were going to give you, it seems like, but you get it in an 8-minute period.
Got it.
Because they're just like, we're just,
Yeah.
I wasted like 200 bullets, and we're coming up on our 3rd night.
Your third,
Our
seventh
3rd,
night?
7th
Yeah.
night. So the second one, I was just sitting like, but she's so into it. Every minute we're at home together, she wants to play.
Are you in the old house?
I tried so hard to find it. I think the map randomizes.
It randomizes where it drops you.
Oh,
but the map is the same each time.
Then I've got to find the old house.
There's a couple copies of it out there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've ran into the same model, but I
Yeah.
haven't found the one next to the river. It was perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've actually colonized in a town,
Oh, okay. Cool.
and it's working out really, really
yeah,
well.
I've actually never done that. I always use the towns for like resource gathering and then run back to my little base.
Right. I'm digging it. I think there's a higher spawn rate of zombies in towns, so we are dealing with that. But now that we're all set up, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But she found out that there's 6 different biomes in the game.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I only know about 3.
I know. She's been looking up everything about
Nice.
this game. I'm really excited to continue.
I'm glad she's
playing.
liking it because once you were like, once I realized where the conversation was going and you were going to be like, we were on a crazy hard setting or whatever. I kind of hoped that the conversation would end with, and now she likes it because I think.
Oh,
it's a
she
game
loves it.
She'd really like.
Anytime we're not playing it in the last like week that we have been playing it, and I see her on her phone, she's looking up shit on how to play it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So much so, I don't know if you would ever be willing to stream 7 Days to Die. Maybe we could do like we could set house rules. How long are we in? Like, can we survive a year maybe in 7 Days to Die? I don't know. I feel like if the 3 of us to some extent enjoy the game 7 Days to Die, it might be cool to try and play.
Okay. It also depends on like how watchable 3-player is.
True. Can you play 3 at once?
Oh, can you not? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
can only imagine the new setting at least. If we can't on ours, the new one auto let you.
I feel like you can.
Quick 7 Days to Die. Check.
7 Days to Die max players. Up to 12 on a server.
Oh shit.
Oh.
But that's got to be the Steam version, right?
Yes, you're right.
Give us 1 second. I'm looking up important stuff. 7 Days to Die.
Interesting. Okay. You on console you can do split screen with 2, or you can do online multiplayer up to 4.
That's
so I don't
still kind of cool.
But I don't think we could do it from
all in one house.
Yeah. 'Cause it sounds like 2 people would have to be playing.
Sorry. What? So I didn't realize what I was doing till you did it. What if we did a series where, and we've done this before, not with a game, but we've done this before, where you stream here, play 7 Days to Die, me and Pauline play at our house, and Chelsea and Mason play at their house. And we all stream it together.
That's 5 people. So one of
us wouldn't. It would probably be me and Pauline, I'd assume. I don't know if Chelsea and Mason have the ability to play it in 2 places. It might even still just be 3 players, if need be. It might just be you, our house, their house.
That's what I'm saying. Because when it says online up to 4, it probably means consoles. So we could but I think one person would have to sit out of the 5 of us.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
they could still be on stream.
of course. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. I think that's a cool, fun idea. You know what I think? I think it'd be fun to do.
Okay.
A little John Cena action.
So what does the stream see? Just what I'm doing?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. Stream hopefully sees at least 3 split screens. Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's never going to see 3 split screens.
Then I guess they just see what you're seeing.
Right.
But with us talking.
Right.
I think that's fine.
They can see your faces.
Yeah.
But as far as the game is concerned, it might just be my view.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
And I think if some shit's going down and you're not there to see it, the people, whoever, you have a PS4. That checks. That checks. We're okay.
What they need to do this.
All right, we check. I forgot that they're in chat.
Yeah.
All parties necessary are currently here. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm.
That was my week.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Well,
Ooh.
I wasn't planning on talking about this game, but I'm going to, and I'll explain
I'm ready.
why. So I've talked about this game before.
Okay.
It's called Tunic. Also, if my dad is watching, mute us because I'm about to spoil this game you're currently playing.
Good call.
I've talked about this game before. It's the game where you play as a little fox. You play as a little fox dude.
Oh, there he is.
And it looks like Link to the Past, except the combat is kind of like Dark Souls. It's kind of like dodgy block, stuff like that. There's one very prominent collectible in the game, and the collectible are pages, and they're pages of an NES manual, essentially. So you get like page 3 and 4, and you put it on the thing, and it through that reveals very little about the game as you go. Also, there's a fake language in the game that you just can't understand. So most of the stuff is written in that language. So a lot of things are visuals. Like if you unlock the page where it explains dodge rolling and when you're vulnerable during a dodge roll, it's all pictures. There's writing, but you ignore it because you can't read it.
Right.
And the reason I'm talking about this game again is because I fucking beat it, and
Oh,
I did
nice.
not expect to. So yeah, I wasn't playing it for a while, just cause, and I picked it back up, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remember I was at a really hard part, and then 2 nights ago, I made what I would call significant progress, and I found you get to this boss, the boss kills you, they're supposed to kill you, you wake up, you're a ghost, you're in alternate world, you're in dark world essentially, and you solve that, you basically explore the game in a different way, you unlock, and also while you're doing this you have to be at level 1 on all your abilities, level 1 HP and level 1 attack power and stuff like that. So not only are you is it an unfamiliar territory, but you're also very weak. So you go around the world finding like you find the ability to have your HP again, and it goes back up to whatever it was. And you find all your abilities, and then you go back to the boss and you fight it again. So 2 nights ago, that's what my whole game was. I was doing that. I was running around finding this. I got back to the final boss, and I tried again. And then for like 3 straight hours, I was trying this boss. I was like, this is way too hard. I wasn't getting frustrated. I was really trying to not get frustrated, but it was getting to the point where I was like, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm just dying to this boss over and over again. And I really hate looking stuff up about this game because it's kind of a whole thing. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to know anything about the game until the game tells you. So looking stuff up is a real tricky. The only time I've ever seen a community do this is the Reddit. The people on the Reddit talk in riddles. Like you cannot.
Oh, interesting.
You cannot get them to spoil the game for you.
That's pretty neat.
I thought that was really cool. Yeah. But so I finally beat this boss, and there's a fucking second phase. There's a whole second life bar.
Shoot.
And I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. So I looked it up. Turns out, I literally wasn't ready for the boss yet. Also, in that Google search, I found out that this was the final boss of the game that I was fighting.
Shoot.
So I was like, oh, okay. So it's time to go explore, find everything, get all my stats up to max or whatever. So last night, the night I beat it, I started playing and I was like, I started playing with this mindset. I was like, I should explore every place again now that I have all the items and stuff. Where do I go, And then I found, I forget where, but I found a new page that I didn't have. And this new page had like a completely new mechanic on it. And there's other mechanics in the game like this before, but this mechanic was essentially like I could have done it the whole time.
Oh.
But the game didn't tell me I could.
Yeah.
So this mechanic opened up the whole game in a new way because now there's a fairy fountain, right? And there's no fairies there. But if you do a thing, some fairies will show you, like, it'll like lead you to the next fairy. You collect the 20 fairies, and then you get the second to last page of the book. Back it up real quick, though. The way you find those fairies. So the manual that is in a different language, but sometimes it's in English. It keeps referring to this item that I don't have called the Holy Cross, and it's like you got to get the Holy Cross to do this. You got to get the Holy Cross to do that. Here's how important the Holy Cross is. With a bit of Googling, I found out that when they say the Holy Cross, they mean the D-pad on the controller. So now there's these patterns everywhere, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to follow the pattern on the D-pad, type in like the code, and then something happens. A door will open, or a chest will appear, or something. That's how you find all the fairies. You find all 20 fairies, and then you unlock the second to last page. And the second to last page has this like codex in it, and it reveals two things. It reveals that yes, you can in fact translate the language, but I straight up was like read an entire guide on how to translate the language, and I like am not smart enough to do it. It's not alphanumeric. It's based on like sound effects. So it's like this shape means but if you put this in here, it means guh. But it's like so confusing. You don't have to.
It's like a real language.
It's like a real, yeah. It was a lot. And you don't have to translate in order to beat the game. So I just didn't. But then there was also this like grid, and the grid had numbers on it, and it was like seemingly random numbers. It was like 12 goes to 9, which goes to 15, which goes to 43. And this grid is what the book refers to as the golden path. And essentially, the way you figure this path out is you, every box that has a number in it, you go to that page and you find a secret little shape. And then, so I literally drew a grid on paper, and I like go to 12. I draw the shape in the square, did that for every square, and then I had this big, huge pattern.
Wow.
And that pattern was a giant, like, one of these, right, that I had to do. that was to open the mountain door. It's the biggest mystery in the game. You have to open the mountain door, and when you do, you get the best prize, right? So I open the mountain door. The only thing that's up there is the last page that you collect. And the last page is the cover of the book, of the manual.
Shoot.
So it says Tunic on it, instruction booklet. You open it, and there's a letter from the devs. And the devs are basically like, thank you for making it this far. You've probably, like, done a lot. You probably have a bunch of secrets. You probably got all the fairies at this point. Now that you've completed the book, go share your knowledge with the people you've met. And there's someone in particular that probably is really interested in this knowledge. So I went back to the final boss, and it's a new cutscene started. I show the final boss the book, and then the game ends. You don't have to fight the final boss if you 100% the game.
Is there a storyline reason for that?
If there is, the game was very like secretive about it, and I wasn't able to figure it out. Essentially, like the final boss is a ghost version of this guy, but he's like taller, like it looks like an adult. And when you share the knowledge with him, he turns into a regular, not ghost adult version of this character, literally wearing the same outfit. And the credits is them just hanging out, chilling, going fishing, going to this part of the. And I was just like dumbfounded. I was just like, and it made me feel so much better about the previous night.
Right.
Because I was like, it just like really like obviously, and I looked it up. There is another ending. You beat that boss, and then there's another ending because of course there is. Very Dark Souls of them, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
But it just made me feel better about myself because I was like, not only was I supposed to struggle with that boss, I wasn't even supposed to be able to beat it, and I wasn't, and then I didn't, but I still beat the game. I don't know. It was so cool. The other thing that was just like crazy that I've like never seen a game do this. So obviously you start a game, you click like file 1, right? But then from that point on, you just hit continue. No reason to go to load game, right?
Right.
So on the golden path, the thing I had to draw out, on page 9, there just wasn't anything. There wasn't a secret path to draw. But page 9 is the page of the book where they teach you about loading save files. So I exited out of the game, clicked load game, and sure enough, there was a secret file. And I click on it, and you're just in this hallway. And the hallway has the code, the path you're supposed to draw, on the floor. You draw it, and then you complete the code.
Jesus.
It was like, and I'm not going to lie, some of this I didn't figure out on my own.
Yeah.
But some of it I did. And I just like, even the little bit of help I got from the internet, I was just like, fascinated. I was like,
that's crazy.
I wonder what percentage of players got this far.
I wonder who the sadistic first guy was. Who the hell figured this shit out first?
I know. Yeah.
Because what you got me with was the Holy Cross thing. I would have never guessed.
No, that part the internet told me.
I know, but who figured it out first?
No, yeah. Well, once I looked it up online, I started looking at the pages more clearly, and there is a page where it lays out how to do it, but it's visually. So if you're not like staring at every inch of every page, it doesn't jump right out at you.
Yeah.
But once I figured out, like once I looked it up and found out that the Holy Cross means the D-pad, I was looking back at one of the pages and I was like, oh, it did tell me how to do this. It's on this page. I'm just dumb and I didn't look far enough into this image, you know? But yeah, I was just like so like fascinated and delighted by this game because the game is already exceptional, right? It's a really solid indie game, and then you tack all this shit onto it. And I was just like, because you collect the first page and it's like, oh shit, it's like an NES manual, and then your immediate next thought is, well, this has got to pay off somehow,
right? And
it does in like so many different ways. And I just thought it was so cool, and I had to share that. Sorry for all the Tunic spoilers.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, that I was like really fascinated by like how much I enjoyed that game. I feel like I had another point I was trying to make, but I lost it. But yeah, Tunic was incredible. I recommend playing it even if you heard all the spoilers stuff. It's still worth it, I think. Okay. How are we? How do we think we're doing on time?
We if chat wants to participate, I think we could make a game real quick.
Well, I actually and I've done this before. I actually came up with a game this week on my own,
Okay.
and I was wondering if I could.
Yeah, you want to reveal it?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could talk about that instead of, because it is like a fully fleshed out idea, so I think it'll take a shorter time to talk about it. So this is like 95% my idea.
Okay.
I saw an image and I was like, that would make a cool game. But this is one I'm perfectly fine sharing because legally I know I will never be able to make this game. So essentially the image I saw was a really nice, really detailed 16 pixel art of Mario 64, except if Mario 64 was open world and all the levels were just out on one map. And I saw that and I was like, would that work as a game? And I think I figured out like how this could work.
Okay.
So I think the game starts out the same exact way. You're standing outside of Princess Peach's castle. You walk up, and instead of meeting Lakitu, you're met by Bowser. Bowser does something. Peach's castle explodes, and all the paintings get ruined. And as they get ruined, now they're all out.
Okay.
And then once the explosion's done, you're not standing on Peach's front lawn anymore. You're standing at the beginning of Bob-omb Battlefield, right?
Okay.
And then from there, it's kind of Breath of the Wild style. Like, if you want, you can just go Bob-omb Battlefield, or you could walk this way and do Lethal Lava Land or some other shit, you know?
You're not picturing this as 16-bit, though?
16-bit? No, I'm picturing this as 64-bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a few things. I think the power-ups, the power-ups stay exactly the same. Wing cap, invisible cap, metal cap. But I think the order you get them in has to change. And I think it has to be invisible cap, then metal cap, and wing cap is definitely last. Because in an open world game, wing cap's kind of OP. Because you could fly anywhere, right? So my idea is invisible cap is first. You get that one just to do a few environmental things. Maybe Lethal Lava Land is locked behind a completely graded thing. You have to go there. But then I want where her moat was, I want that to be replaced with Jolly Roger Bay, and you can just do that one. But Ocarina of Time style, in order to get to Dire Dire Docks, you need to be Metal Mario and go under a thing and emerge in Dire Dire Docks. And then my idea for the wing cap was once you get the wing cap, in addition to all the wing cap, stars you can get, you need the wing cap to get to Rainbow Ride or whatever it's called, Rainbow Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you get to the top of Rainbow Cruise, then you're in Bowser Land. And I think what Bowser Land is how many times do you fight Bowser in
3?
It's all 3 Bowser levels in one level with checkpoints before each one. And then you fight Bowser once, but each phase of the fight is all the other fights from that game.
Okay, that's cool.
So then, obviously I said you get to the top of Rainbow Cruise and then you go to Bowser. But at the top of Rainbow Cruise, you just teleport back to the bottom of Rainbow Cruise if you want. So some players are just going to go right to Bowser. But then I think most players are going to want to 100% this game. So if you want to 100% it, you do it the normal way. You just hang out in an area. Maybe we do away with the 100 coin stars because now it's an open world game and those are a little,
Maybe you just do one.
Maybe it's
maybe it's like 500 coin star.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's like 1,000 coin star or something like that. But yeah, so essentially the stars are all the exact same, right? It's just like an open world thing. Obviously, we have to cut out the victory animation and then it cuts away. It has to be like one fluid level. But
Well, you can when he gets the 100 coin star, that's exactly what you do every time he gets a star. It's just like that.
right, exactly. But some things have to change. Like Koopa the Quick always has to be there, waiting for you to challenge him and
Right.
stuff like that. But I think that's like an easy fix. You know, you just look at every level and you're like, how do we change Bob on Battlefield a little bit to accommodate all stars at once? There's probably a mod that already does that.
Right.
There's 1,000 mods, so there's like the most modded game in history. So then, you know, I love to do some weird shit. So if you get all the stars and you 100% this game and you fight Bowser, you beat him. If you beat him without the 100% all the stars, game just ends, right? If you have all the, and then maybe it says like the end with a question mark. If you collect all the stars, you beat him, the castle fixes itself.
Oh.
You then unlock New Game Plus mode, and New Game Plus mode is just Mario 64. Now it's back to normal. It looks better because this game was made in now, and you know,
so you get like an updated version of it.
yeah,
I'd
now,
love that.
yeah, as a
like
new
modern
game,
Mario.
exactly
64.
as a New Game Plus, you just unlock Mario 64 remake,
Yeah.
and like maybe you have Cappy or some shit. I don't know. You know, that doesn't matter to me. But yeah, and then I think from there, you 100% it again, and you get what you get in the other game. You just get like a kiss on the nose from Peach or whatever the fuck, you finally get to eat the cake. And I think that, because I always like to develop games with this in mind, I think I've created a game that casual players and speedrunners alike are going to like.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about speedrunning an open world game like this, forget the fact that it's Mario 64. This isn't basically a completely new experience as far as any percenting goes. But not if you make it like a New Game Plus run where you have to do, I'm thinking like 15 to 25 minutes to get through to speed run the game if you know what you're doing.
Sure.
And then it's just the speed run that we all know and love.
Right.
Through Mario 64.
Right.
And that's my
I think
idea.
yeah, no, I think that's cool. I think that's really interesting. I dig that.
Cuz I saw the picture. I was like, that's neat. What if it was real though?
Yeah, no, I'm taking that all in. I'd like to see the picture. I don't know if you have it or have access to it.
I could find it real quick. I think it was technically an animated GIF.
Okay.
Let me you know what? I think She Says, friend of the channel, She Says might have retweeted it. So let me look through his real quick. And if I can't find it in 30 seconds, I found it.
Cool.
So you can't zoom in because it is an animated GIF, and you can't even make the bottom thing go away. But yeah, there it is. Oh, what happened?
Something popped up.
Oh, sorry.
Just notification. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah. And what got me what started my thought process was the fact that you can clearly see in that picture that Rainbow Cruise is above everything else. And
yeah.
I was like, interesting. So how would you get there? And stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Good job.
Thank you. But yeah, that's going to do it for our video game podcast. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about pop culture news. Sounds like we're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie based on something Chris said earlier.
What did I say?
Oh, I don't know. You said there was a story related to
video games.
Video games, but not
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, the podcast I'm referring to comes out Friday, and if you're watching live on Twitch or on the VOD, just hang tight. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.